Hello and welcome to my video, Is MGTOW an identity? But the shortest version of this video is no. Job done. You can stop watching the video now. Thank you and goodbye. Now firstly, before I analyse what an identity is, lots of people try to use it as a derogatory term, as in they're identitarians. It's an identity movement. Now, to go into greater detail about the nuances and the difference, it does get pretty interesting. So throughout my videos, I've always sort of brought up sort of atheism because many subscribe atheism as an identity, and for me, if something describes my behaviors or attitudes or values exactly, then by definition, then I fit that identity. However, apart from the fact that I identify as an atheist, what else can you then make an inference? What else can you say about me? That I like animals, I like rock music, whatever I'm really tall, I'm super sexy. You can't make any other statement apart from doesn't believe in God. And within modern discourse, identity has been used as just a label to throw loads of unnecessary things on there and basically just demonize the people. Now, I'm not going to say I'm immune to this as well. I'm sure I write off plenty of people as I give them the identity of retarded and then dismiss whatever they've got to say. Now, I've been watching lots of videos about identity, and to be honest, I do understand them all, but the thing is they get into all the details. And it does get pretty complex and nuanced. I think the main thing from the outsider's perspective of MGTOW is one of the main things of MGTOW is going your own way, being a fully realized individual. Now the thing is, the reason why this creates this sounds really complicated, and when people define MGTOW, they may define it in loads of different ways, and many have complained, oh, MGTOW's too vague. And it's like, no, it's vague on purpose. The whole point is everyone will interpret it in their own way. Like, for example, what does going your own way even mean? What does it even mean? For example, let's take the YouTuber Happy Humble Hermit. Pretty sure he's going to live sort of a pretty minimalist lifetime. He's going to go to school and he's going to become a teacher. That's his way of doing stuff. I'm going to try and expand my business to the absolute max, become as successful as I can maximally become, hopefully become super elite and control the world. Muhahaha. So, some of the markers of an identity are sort of values, even knowledge statements, awareness, how they view the group. Now, whilst men of MGTOW may believe in, or not believe in, understand hypergamy, female nature, family courts, etc., etc., the trouble is you can't extrapolate very much from this. Like, for example, so we're going to take 1 million MGTOWs and we're going to analyze their interactions with women. Well, some of them could still be dating. Some of them do pump and dump. Some of them will be completely monk. Let's talk about taxation, money and wealth. Some will be living completely and utterly off the grid, completely and utterly self-sufficient. Like they're like super going their own way. Some will be living a complete minimalist lifetime. Some, like maybe myself, will be struggling to reach economic freedom. Like, I don't give a shit that I'm paying more taxes. I want to be economically free. I want to retire before I'm, let's say, 50. So, to do that, I need to put in some hard work now. And to reiterate the point, okay, let's talk about politics. MGTOW itself is apolitical. However, the men of MGTOW are every single political persuasion you can possibly be, from the MCAPs to Marxist, to communist, to socialist, whatever philosophy there could be. Then MGTOW, they are all men of MGTOW. Now, another thing with identity is the social identity, the group identity. Now, Marcus, he summed it up perfectly. He said, MGTOW are a group the same way having a driving license is a group. Now, out of the individuals of MGTOW, I am sure with absolute certainty that there is some groups of MGTOW which you could consider a proper group or a collective of group whose thoughts or opinions are so close, so shared, you could class it as an identity. However, from my interactions and the main point of going your own way, that isn't the point. That isn't the principle. That isn't the foundation. The whole point is to be a complete individual. And the thing is, many people get confused because we're using an acronym. So I like to shorten the acronym and give the bonus definition of MGTOW of not being a gynocentric cuck. Like, so that's why I sort of compare it to atheism. Like, do I believe in a god? No. Do I believe in catering to women in the short or long term or at any time is productive, logical, worth doing? No. Catering to women is just completely counterproductive to the whole of society. On the individual level and the society level, it's fully retarded. And it took me years to learn about this retardation. And another thing, the critics who love to label MGTOW as identitarians is they somehow completely forget some of the different markers that would make up group identity. Like, for example, age, disability, status, religion, ethnic race, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, national origin. Okay, gender, they're all men, so we can give them that. They can say that possibly 50% of the world. Now, I have heard the argument that, oh, MGTOW is racist, it's just for the whiteys. It's like, oh my fucking god, like, guys, where is MGTOW? It's in the West. What is the West? Majority white. Now, whilst there's some efforts to change that, that is the state of affairs. Now, I'm pretty sure if all those gynocentric laws in Nigeria, they would all go MGTOW. Like, look at Japan, they've got the herbivore man. And whilst that's, some consider it MGTOW, some don't. I don't consider it MGTOW. However, you can see that it's a concentrated effort to be like, no, we're not happy with this, we don't like this. I'm not going to become a salaryman. Fuck that shit. Now let's take darkies, the blackies. Black people in, let's say, America are affected worse by gynocentric laws. I believe the single motherhood rate is higher in the black community than the white community in America. So there's no logic to be like, yeah, blacks can't be MGTOW. No, because as Turf Legal Monkey says, gynocentrism's colorblind. It's destroying all men. Like, you got a dick and balls. You wanna interact with women. You can get destroyed like the rest of them. Also, to reiterate one of my other videos I made about virtue signaling in MGTOW, it's not virtuous or good necessarily to be MGTOW. People use the acronym and they use it to identify. So you just know that you have some pre-established truths and pre-established knowledge, so you can have conversations and pursue the conversation further. So let's say there's two red pill individuals. We say gynocentrism is bad. Then we can move the conversation on further. If I'm just dealing with some random individuals, I'm going to have to just assume they're a gyno cuck and they think catering to women is the pinnacle of human excellence. And egalitarianism is absolutely amazing, and it's not destroying everything. The whole point of using an acronym is just so we can talk about other things. And one of the main things I enjoy about MGTOW content is men sharing stories and observations about observable reality. Who else is making comments about observable reality? The anti-feminists? And another thing which triggers many people is when people just say that, like, for example, Leonardo DiCaprio, MGTOW, and they're like, well, he's probably never watched any MGTOW content and he's probably not aware of the concept or the idea of the philosophy. It's like, yeah, but if we analyse his lifestyle, he's MGTOW, full stop. Same way we can look at different men throughout history and be like, oh, they're MGTOW. So if you want to consider an identity a good or a bad thing, but if you're just sticking to the words of what we understand these things actually mean, and if we're sticking to what best describes me or what best describes a person, then that's why there's many implied MGTOW and reluctant MGTOWs as well. Another fundamental flaw with labelling MGTOW as identitarian is the men of MGTOW, for the most part, are completely and utterly anonymous. So how could you be ascribing group identities if you honestly don't even know who you're talking about? How can you? And this is why it annoys me when people are like, oh yeah, that guy's one blowjob away from going on the plantation. It's like, how do you know that? You really don't know that. And there's so many aspects. It's like, oh, MGTOW losers. It's like, how can you know that? Like, I had a guy in my comment section saying that my voice wasn't sexy enough to attract women. And I was like having a little bit of a silly argument with him. But I'm like, I'm not going to ring up my ex-girlfriend and be like, oh, could you prove to this guy on the internet that you find, you being crazy and a woman, find my voice sexy so I can destroy this guy on the internet? Like, no. And that's why overall it's so, as I say, okay, to quickly sum up again. So MGTOW is going your own way. It's being a complete and utter individual, and all the members, for the most part, are completely and utterly anonymous. So how can you possibly sort of call it? You can, I suppose, I would agree that it's a weak identity, and by weak identity, it's like atheism is an identity. It can describe some extremely small criteria and describes a person, but the amount that it doesn't describe is massively more. So let's just contrast that with the Muslim identity, for example, or an English identity. There's so many things that you can say about the way a Muslim or an Englishman will behave. There's so many identifiers within the way they think, or the way they act, possibly, what they're likely to do in a situation. So if I give a Muslim guy some non-halal meat, what is he probably going to do? Probably not going to accept it. If I say to an Englishman, when I go out hanging out with some French people, we'll go, "Puh, they're dirty traitors." So I suppose for me, when I look at it in its entirety, there's still so many aspects. Okay, so the MGTOW quantifiers are so extremely small to the non-quantifiers, and that's why I throw it out as an identity, because there's just so many, like politics and someone's values, their morality, their, I don't know, their perception, there's just so many things that just aren't. Because if the whole point of an identity is you agree on lots of things about how the world should work. Let's take one which is a popular one, taking women's rights away. The MGTOW community is not unanimously decided TFM's right, take women's rights away. And as people always point out, oh, there's loads of infighting. Yeah, because everyone's battling with ideas that their idea's the best. So we're always going to have that, which is awesome. But again, if you had an identity, there wouldn't be debates on all the issues. There wouldn't be so much vigilant disagreement on the whole point of an identity is you agree on so many things. But I honestly think, because of the individual nature, the overlaps are so small and the disagreements are so large, and that's great. That's the way it should be, because the whole point is being completely individualist. Anyway, I've probably rambled enough. Thank you for listening, watching, and goodbye.